What if the greatest revenge is no revenge at all? Seneca learned this the day betrayal stepped into his life, wearing the face of someone he trusted. Most men would rage, most would plot, and most would fall into resentment. But Seneca was not most men. When the truth surfaced, when the lies and manipulation finally came to light, he didn't break, he didn't lash out, and he didn't even raise his voice. Instead, he did something far more dangerous. He turned the betrayal into a weapon not against the traitor, but against his own weaknesses. The Stoics believed that the moment you react with anger, you surrender power. But when you respond with mastery, you become untouchable. Today, we uncover the 6 Stoic revenge methods, the same mental strategies Seneca used to rise above betrayal, with iron, calm, unshakable clarity, and a victory so silent the enemy never saw it coming. If you've ever been lied to, abandoned, or blindsided by someone you trusted, this is the lesson that rewrites your story. This is how Seneca turned betrayal into strength, and how you can do the same. Part 1. Revenge by Rising Above. They thought betrayal would break you. They believed that the lies, the whispers, and the humiliation would crush your spirit. But the Stoics knew a deeper truth: the higher you rise, the smaller your enemies become. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If they can harm your reputation, they cannot harm your character." This is the foundation of the first Stoic revenge method, rising above. Marcus once faced a betrayal that could have destroyed his rule. A trusted advisor began spreading rumors, not with swords, but with words sharp enough to cut through an empire. While most leaders would react instantly, Marcus paused and asked, "If I act now, is this justice or ego?" That pause was the difference. That pause was power. Stoic revenge is not about crushing your enemy. It's about becoming so excellent, so disciplined, so elevated that their betrayal loses all relevance. As Epictetus warned, no man is truly harmed except by himself. Say it with me: their betrayal cannot define me. A Harvard study shows that people who choose self-improvement over retaliation experience 48% higher long-term satisfaction and 42% less emotional burnout. Modern science finally proves what the Stoics mastered 2,000 years ago. Here's your practice for the next 7 days. Ask every morning, how can I outgrow yesterday? Read 10 minutes. Improve one skill. Strengthen your discipline by 1%. Because success, quiet, undeniable success, is the revenge your enemy fears most. But rising above is only the beginning. Because true Stoic revenge requires something even more powerful: total command over your emotions. In Part 2, we explore the method Marcus used to ensure no enemy could ever control him again. Stay with me. Part 2. Revenge through radical control. What if the person who betrayed you didn't actually hurt you? What if the real wound came from your reaction? Marcus Aurelius believed that the greatest battlefield is not the Senate, not the empire, but the silent space between stimulus and response. And this is where the second Stoic revenge method begins: radical control over your emotions. When Marcus discovered a betrayal within his own court, he didn't explode. He didn't shout. He didn't even change his expression. Witnesses described him as calm as still water. This wasn't weakness, it was precision. Marcus understood that the moment you let someone control your emotions, you hand them the crown of your mind. So he refused. He took a slow breath and said, "Let us understand before we react." The Stoics taught that emotions are natural, but emotional obedience is optional. As Epictetus wrote, "You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus can conquer my mind." Say it with me: my emotions belong to me, not to them. Neuroscience shows that emotional reactions last only 90 seconds unless we feed them with thoughts. You are never trapped by betrayal, only by your mental replay of it. A Stanford study reveals that people who regulate emotions improve decision-making by 36% and reduce conflict-driven stress by 40%. Marcus mastered this centuries before science proved it. Here's your practice: apply the Stoic 90-second rule. When triggered, pause. Breathe deeply for 90 seconds. Repeat. Let me respond, not react. Do this for 1 week and watch how your behavior becomes intentional and strategic. Radical control is the revenge your betrayer never expects because it takes away their power. But the Stoics didn't stop here. They believed every betrayal hides a deeper truth, and if you understand why someone wronged you, you break the prison of resentment forever. That's Part 3, Revenge through Understanding. Stay with me. Part 3. Revenge through understanding. What if your enemy didn't betray you because you were weak, but because they were Marcus Aurelius, believed that understanding the motives behind betrayal is the key that unlocks inner freedom? Seneca said, "No man does wrong willingly. He acts from fear, pain, or ignorance." This is the third Stoic revenge method, revenge through understanding. There was a senator once loyal to Marcus who suddenly turned against him, spreading lies and stirring unrest throughout Rome. When Marcus was asked why he didn't punish him, he replied, "A man attacks only when he feels threatened." Marcus understood something most people never grasp. Betrayal is often a confession of insecurity, jealousy, or fear. And once you see that, half the emotional poison disappears. Epictetus wrote, "When someone harms you, consider what led them to it. Once you understand, you will pity, not hate." Understanding does not excuse the action. It frees you from being wounded repeatedly by the memory of it. When you see the insecurity behind the attack loses its power. A study in the Journal of Social Psychology reveals that 82% of betrayals come from fear, insecurity, miscommunication, or perceived threat, meaning most betrayals aren't personal, they're projections. And when you stop taking betrayal personally, you stop suffering from it. Here's your practice: when someone wrongs you, ask, what fear, pain, or insecurity caused this? Write down 3 possible reasons. This simple exercise shifts your mind out of emotional survival mode and into stoic clarity. Understanding is liberation. It dissolves resentment not by force but by wisdom. But the Stoics didn't stop here. They believed betrayal can become fuel, a fire that strengthens instead of burns. That's part 4, revenge by turning pain into power. Stay with me. Part 4, revenge by turning pain into power. What if the pain they caused, you could become the very force that elevates you beyond anything they imagined? Marcus Aurelius believed exactly this. Because to the Stoics, pain does not break you, pain builds you. This is the 4th Stoic revenge method, turning pain into power. There was a moment in Marcus's life when betrayal triggered political disaster, public humiliation, and a collapse of trust. For a time, he stood alone, accused, doubted, cornered. But instead of collapsing, Marcus wrote a line that would echo through centuries. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. These words weren't abstract philosophy, they were a survival strategy. Marcus studied his pain instead of resisting it. He forged strength from it instead of drowning in it. He turned betrayal into clarity, leadership, and purpose. Seneca reminded us, fire tests gold. Suffering tests the strong. Pain is not the enemy, it is the teacher. When you transform pain into progress, you win a victory no enemy can erase. Science now confirms what the Stoics knew. A study in psychological science shows that reframing emotional pain as growth increases resilience by 62% and reduces anxiety by 38%. Marcus Aurelius discovered post-traumatic growth nearly 2 millennia before psychologists named it. Here's your practice tonight. Write down the betrayal or pain. List 3 strengths it forced you to develop: patience, awareness, boundaries, clarity. Then ask, what part of me is stronger because of this? This rewires pain into progress. When you turn pain into strength, you turn betrayal into fuel. But Marcus had another form of revenge, one even more powerful, the revenge of integrity, the refusal to become like the one who harmed you. That's part 5, revenge by holding your principles. Stay with me. Part 5, revenge by holding your principles. Picture this: your enemy expects you to explode. They expect you to break, to lash out, to become a reflection of the chaos they created. But instead, you remain calm. You remain centered. You remain you. Marcus Aurelius believed this was the highest form of revenge. In his words, the best revenge is to be unlike your enemy. During one of Rome's darkest political storms, a faction of corrupt senators tried to sabotage Marcus. They manipulated his advisors, distorted his decisions, and poisoned public opinion. They wanted him to respond with the same cruelty they lived by. But Marcus refused to descend. He refused to let betrayal pull him into the mud. When asked why he didn't punish them harshly, he answered, "We are shaped by our choices, not by their actions." And in that moment, he revealed the truth the Stoics lived by. If betrayal turns you into a mirror of the betrayer, then they have already won. Marcus knew that real power comes from restraint, not reaction. As Epictetus said, if someone else decides to act unjustly, ensure it is not you who becomes unjust. Stoic revenge is not fire against fire. It is character against chaos. The moment you violate your principles, you lose the one thing a betrayer cannot take: your inner authority. Modern psychology agrees. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who stay aligned with their core values, especially during conflict, experience a 54% increase in long-term self-respect, 41% less emotional regret, and nearly double the life satisfaction. Why? Because violating your principles creates cognitive dissonance, the painful fracture between who you are and what you did. When you betray your principles, you betray yourself. Marcus Aurelius refused to do either. So tonight, try this practice. Write down 5 principles you will not compromise no matter who betrays you. Principles like: I do not respond from anger. I speak truth even when wounded. I will not become cruel because someone else was. My dignity is non-negotiable. I rise with clarity, not retaliation. Then ask yourself, what would it look like to live these principles under pressure? Because integrity practiced in comfort is decoration, but integrity practiced in betrayal is transformation. When you hold your principles, you win a victory. Your enemy cannot touch a victory over your impulses, your ego, and your lower self. But the Stoics had one final form of revenge, deeper than discipline, stronger than understanding, more liberating than strength. A form of revenge that ends the cycle completely. Not rising above, not emotional control, not understanding, not power, not even integrity. The final Stoic revenge is indifference. The moment when the betrayer no longer matters at all. Part 6. The final Stoic revenge: indifference. What if the most devastating revenge is simply not caring anymore? Not angry, not hurt, not waiting, just free. Marcus Aurelius believed that true power comes when nothing outside your own mind can disturb you. This is the 6th and final Stoic revenge method: indifference. Not coldness, not numbness, but emotional independence. Near the end of his life, Marcus faced yet another wave of betrayal: courtiers, whispering rivals, plotting politicians, stirring chaos. But this time, he didn't analyze motives or transform pain into strength. He simply outgrew the need to care. He wrote, "Do not waste what remains of your life in the minds of others." When you stop seeking apology, validation, or revenge, the betrayer loses all power. Seneca wrote, "He who is offended only by that which harms virtue is invincible." Your peace becomes your final victory. Your indifference becomes their defeat. Nothing confuses a betrayer more than a person who is simply done. Modern psychology now confirms this. A study in the Journal of Behavioral Therapy shows that those who practice healthy emotional detachment experience 60% less anxiety, 45% lower anger intensity, and greater clarity in every decision. Indifference is not avoidance, it is mastery. Here's your practice tonight. Write the name or situation that hurt you. Draw a line through it, then say, "This no longer belongs in my mind." Give your mind the closure it needs. Indifference is the final revenge the moment you reclaim your peace, your power, your life. A free mind cannot be betrayed. If this series strengthened you or opened your eyes like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more ancient wisdom to guide your modern life. Your transformation begins now. In the end, Marcus didn't punish the advisor who betrayed him. He simply removed their influence and lived so virtuously that history itself erased the traitor's name. Only Marcus remained, because Stoic revenge isn't about defeating the other person, it's about becoming undefeatable. If this message spoke to you, if you want more ancient wisdom to guide your modern life, like this video, share it with someone who needs strength today, and subscribe to the channel Making Life Better for more Stoic lessons from the greatest minds in history. Your support helps this philosophy live on. And before you scroll, comment one word to lock this lesson into your mind: unbreakable. The Stoics believe that once you name your strength, you become it.